Delighted to be here.
You were here on Monday. You talked to Brian about the presidential debate, the first debate between Bill Clinton and Bob Dole. Let's talk now about the VP candidates. How did they do, in your opinion, last night?
Well, for the first time, we had a real winner. I mean, we didn't so much with Dole and Clinton earlier, but Al Gore won this debate because he won it both reaching the hearts and the minds, and it was interesting that he did because of who Jack Kemp is.
Well, how do you think he accomplished that, reaching the hearts and minds?
Well, first of all, he worked at being more warm, smiling somewhat. He's still wooden and stiff, and he has a long way to go, but I think he might have 4 years to try that. But what he did more than anybody else in any of all four candidates, he focused on his message. You have to have a point of view, and you have to get to that message and stay on it. And so every 90-minute or 90-second bit, he talked on one subject.
So does that mean Jack Kemp failed to do that?
Absolutely. Jack Kemp was more abstract, more theoretical, more rhetorical, if you will. And he came back to the end of certain questions and just gave a kind of political statement. He seemed rusty. And I was surprised because he's animated, he's warm, he's personable, that's his reputation. He was like that, but he wasn't on target, he wasn't on message.
You like to break this down into verbal and nonverbal communication skills. Verbally, you're saying Al Gore was on message, and that's a plus. Non-verbally, how did they do? Well,
they did, it could be rated a toss-up because Kemp is always going to be, and he's highly energetic, and that's a great communication skill. You got to connect with people first.
But you have to also draw the line because energy can also be seen as nervousness.
Well, not if you get the adrenaline to work for you. That is the secret, so that you're reaching out to the audience to connect with them. You got to reach people's hearts before you can get their minds. And Kemp does that naturally. Al Gore does not. Sometimes he's lectury, like a professor a little bit, and talking down. And he has more energy, movement that he had last night than he normally has. But he still has to continue to work at that to be superb.
I noticed posture of both was pretty good. A lot of hand motions from Jack Kemp, not as many from Al Gore. One of the things television does for us, though, Bert, is it allows us to split that screen. And while Al Gore is talking, we're watching the reactions of Jack Kemp and vice versa. How did they handle that, do you think?
Very insightful, because when you see that, the unconscious mind is making a real judgment of what do these people really like. But they both handled it very well. There was no little snickering like you saw in the '92 vice presidential debates. No little, oh gosh, that kind of thing. It was a measured civil debate. That's what people are talking about, and you could see that in those split screens. It's a very valuable tool.
Somebody has obviously told these candidates, what all else fails, look into the camera. Even when you're not talking. That can also, though, be very difficult because it can make you feel wooden. After a while, you're just staring. Yep. How do you accomplish that and still look warm?
You just have to get over it and get used to it, and they are used to it. What they don't do, Clinton didn't do this and Kemp didn't do this, when they're referring to their other party, they should look at them and look off camera, because that's artificial. You're not talking, to Al Gore and looking at the camera, and people know that intellectually.
Yeah, that's true, because they really were staring right at the camera and ignoring their counterpart.
But now Al Gore and Bob Dole reverse that. They did look at the candidates.
All right, Bert Decker, we're going to see you, I hope, after the second presidential debate as well. Interesting stuff. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. There is much more ahead on Today right after this.